especially old school investors, they wanted to see founders face to face. They didn't want them dispersed in one in Florida and one in Illinois or one in New York and one in Texas. They wanted people working face to face every single day on something hard, on the solution. So with that, obviously that has been disrupted by COVID, and COVID sped up that process of old school mentality investors thinking that
Completely.
has to be true, to now being open-minded and be like, okay, well, you could have different founders from in different cities still building a really big company and a great successful company. So that's been, I think, one of the biggest changes that happened very quickly, because pre-COVID it was different. Another big change for investors post-COVID is the deal flow. So now your deal flow, you got to think about that. Instead of holding 200 or 300 meetings per month that were mostly in person, geographically speaking, now you're looking at 500 to 1,000, because much more. Before COVID, I didn't really use Zoom that much. I probably used it 4 or 5 times before COVID. After COVID, I don't even know how many times I've used it at this point. But that goes to show that founders can do the same thing with their meetings, and they can have the meetings with investors, venture capitalists to pitch them. So now you're competing for capital versus, there's pros and cons to it. The con is you're competing for capital at a wide range from almost around the world, potentially around the country, depending on their thesis. But also the pros to it is accessibility. You could pitch somebody in Washington, Seattle, and be in Arizona right now, which is pretty cool. I'm more old school and traditional, because that wasn't really popular back in the day. And by the way, again, I've been doing this for 15 years, quite some time. So it hasn't really became popular until the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, but really in the past year, after they amended those laws for the raising. I think you raised now up to $5 million, and that's what Gumroad did, and Arlen from Backstage Capital. So now that they changed it, I think it's a great tool to consider for funding your startup. But I will be completely honest with you and say I have limited knowledge from experiences in regards to raising capital that way, and also it just wasn't around back when I was moving up the ranks in the startup world. So I think it's a great resource. Every successful startup has somewhat of a unique story on how they got there, and they try and dodge a million bullets, and the name of the game is just making a bunch of decisions right. And even though you're going to make some wrong ones, if you make more right ones than wrong ones in the end, that's how you come out a winner. And the beginning stages are super hard, and that's why most startups fail, because they can't figure out how to get to product market fit, and that's because it's super hard. It's almost impossible. The secret sauce is this: get an advisor that has been there and done that with relevant experience, and that's done it lately. So you don't want someone that has been super successful, but they did something 20 years ago, because shit changes all the time, as we mentioned. So you want to get someone that's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ahead of you, that has good successes in a similar industry. That's the first thing. Second thing, build something that you're super passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it and you're just trying to make some money, you will throw in the towel, because it will get too hard. Like I said, it's close to impossible to have a great startup. And the third thing, create a great GTM strategy, go-to-market strategy. Don't just wing it. Don't just start and just seeing what happens and throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. You literally have to be very methodical on how your go-to-market is set up, because that will give you the leg up and get you to the next stage. So we have 3 of them that are coming up on the horizon very soon. The first one is in Dallas next Saturday. It's an all-day event in Dallas, Deep Ellum. We have some great speakers. You can check out campevents.com's camp is spelled with a K. The event after that is in Gio's hometown, is in Miami, and the theme of that is NFTs, crypto, and Web3. So it's for Miami Tech Month. We have some very, very heavy hitter speakers coming that know a lot about the space, and it's going to be a great day full of education, opportunity, and networking. Of course, some fun, happy hour, VIP dinner, all that. Happy to also create a code, Streann. If anybody wants 15% off, I'll create the code, so you can check that out and get that package.